I have a confession to make to you all. My confession is that I'm very emotional. I've been crying. And honestly, it was just a few tears shed, but because of my um, skin tone and family lineage, I'm very red. I have a red undertone for anybody who knows about undertones. So anytime I get emotional, all the red comes forward to my eyes, my nose, my lips, my face, right? So anyway, that's why I look like I look. um, but my emotion, I guess I've been sort of closeted in my emotion because I grew up in a generation raised by boomers who were raised by the builders, or the greatest generation, as they called them, who fought in World War II um, and did so much to build in our country after the Great Depression. My grandfather was born right after the Great Depression. And so that lineage was very much about doing the hard work and pushing the emotion down, and that emotions are a weakness. Also, I should also say that I'm from a family of laborers. My dad's side of the family were all farmers, and my mom's side of the family were laborers, but also my mom's father had a poultry farm and raised chickens. So sort of farmers too, but he also was on the business side of it, of actually like selling the chickens and the industry side. So anyway, all that to be said, the emotion of it. It's important to know, where we come from. Not that you all need to know where I come from, but I think it helps to connect. But to know where you come from, like to understand yourself. For me, understanding why my mom used to tell me to stop crying, or being forced to stop crying, or that I couldn't have emotion in the house that I was in, and that I could get way deeper into all of that, and I won't in this video. But I grew up, and then also with all the male energy in my family, and for me connecting more so with the men in my family, or being accepted more by the men, and leaning into that, I knew that like I couldn't be emotional. But as I've gotten older, the emotion continues to come forth, and I think some of it was from repressed emotion. My therapist once said that it's all coming out. The well has to overflow at some point if there's too much water in there, and water is emotion. Emotion is water. So anyway, but part for me, a lot of my emotion these days, sometimes it comes from me getting hurt and dealing with my own personal stuff, but a lot of it comes from the collective. And see, I get emotional just thinking about the collective and where we are today. One belief that I stand firmly in is that I am not free until all are free. And what is freedom? It's a journey, right? I can have freedom in my health, but not have it in my mind. I could have freedom in my mind, but not have it in my health. There's different in my physical health, I should say. I could have freedom within community to fully express myself, but then not have it in my physical body. There's lots of different pieces and aspects to that, and I do believe it is a journey. I think that we're collectively on a journey towards that freedom, which is also, freedom to me is also tied up in our wholeness of who we are, and that is tied up in the oneness, that we are all in this together. Hence, I am not free until all are free. We are all connected. We are all one. when we tie it all the way back, even if we're just dealing with humanity, right? It all comes back to one. Research has shown that we all come from Africa, I believe, or um, I can't tell you exactly. I've read research on it, but so we could say that we all come from that one space. But I think on a deeper level and understand on a deeper level, so to me, we all come from one source. I think of it as the sun, and we are all a ray of the sun or a speck of the sun. But we are all of that, and we will all return to that. If we're all of stardust, we're all stardust. So it's all the same. That sameness, of course, in our diversity and expression and how we show up in the world, we are much different, but we are all very much the same as well. Anyway, I digress. In my emotion and coming out to you and expressing the emotion, I find it as a strength these days because it means that I'm connected. It means that I feel the pain of others, that I have my eyes wide open and I see what's happening every day. And I find myself currently in a space. I was just telling a friend this morning that I feel like I'm continually climbing a mountain that I don't have to climb socioeconomically. Like my position in society does not require me to climb this mountain, and yet my soul says I must. And it's emotional for me. It's exhausting for me because I could sit here in my home and everything that I've created for myself, and all of the work that I did when I was younger to create stability for myself is manifesting, and I'm hold so much gratitude in my heart for that, and it's necessary in order to continue to climb this mountain to have that stability for myself. So I know that that's part of the work that I continue to do, is having stability for myself, because when we Maslow's hierarchy of needs will tell us that we cannot self-actualize. We cannot be in service to others if we cannot care for ourselves first. So if I don't have food and shelter and clothing, water, right, all of these essential items, if I don't have those stable in my life, I cannot be positively affecting others in the world. I cannot help anybody else. I have to help myself, or I have to be helped, right? Which is why we have social systems to support those of us those among us who are most vulnerable in society, right? The children, our elders, moms who need so much community and support and help, because we are not meant to do this alone. We are not meant to parent alone. It is meant to be a community effort. So anyway, all of that, and this mountain for me, it is part of my soul's journey to continue walking this mountain and climbing this mountain for us, because I have chosen to be of service, and that is my personal desire. Yes, so the emotion, coming back to the emotion, recognizing that it is a superpower, and I just wanted to share that with you. And for any of you who do feel more emotional, who might be of my generation or older, who were taught to suppress their emotions, or maybe you're younger and you were also taught to suppress emotions because of the family that you grew up in, or because you are in survival mode. That is part of why, again, like coming back to my ancestors, and as farmers, you have to do the work every day. If you don't work every day, if you're not taking care and plowing the field and tending to the field in fall, then you're not going to be able to plant in spring. And if you don't plant in spring, you're not going to be able to eat in winter. So there's that survival mode and so that sort of mentality is carried through us and through the generations. But I'm here to tell you that emotions are tools. They are powerful indicators of something happening deep within us that we need to pay attention to. They should not rule us. Sometimes they do. There are days when I'm just sad and it's hard to pull myself up. There have been weeks and months, even, especially when I was younger, years, even when I was stuck in the PTSD or within my depression and things like that. And those were still indicators. I was not as wise to understand what they were saying to me. And I have come a long way in that. And I hope to share some of that in the future with all of you, because that is part of our evolution in humanity and as Americans, is to understand ourselves and to take the steps to care for ourselves. And so those emotions are just indicators, not just, but they are indicators that something's happening, and they can be powerful motivators. I don't like feeling depressed and sad. I don't like feeling unfulfilled. I was crying this morning, feeling unfulfilled, because my soul says, keep climbing, Crystal, speak, use your voice. And my body says, I'm tired. I don't want to speak. And my mind sometimes says, there's plenty of other people speaking. You don't need to speak. Other people are saying all the things. But my soul is like, no, you got to speak. And so here I speak through the emotion and share through the emotion. And I give gratitude to you for listening and seeing me in the emotion and sort of outing myself, I guess, as a powerful leader too. There's that complex of strength means no emotion, but I'm here to break the mold and to tell you that it's not true, that we need leaders with emotion who are so connected to the people, who see the pain that you're experiencing and who decide to keep climbing the mountain. Even though I've got it made, even though I have everything that I need, I could close my doors, I could close my ears and my eyes and ignore all the shit happening in this world. But my soul says no. Because I have so much love for each of my fellow Americans, for my fellow humans. I say humans because we're experiencing being human, but we're not even human at the end of it. But this is what we need. So I'm here to serve where I'm able and to share where I'm able. And I'm going to keep sharing. Just be patient with me, because I'm working through a lot of my own shit, just like you're working through all of yours. And that is really the brilliance of the time that we're in. This chaos is meant to be worked through. I see, when I can step back and see the bigger picture, I see that we are going through simultaneously a death and a rebirth happening. Many people who are religious within Christian religion point to signs of the end of times, the Armageddon, if you will, or I'm blanking on the other words, so it's not meant to be shared at this moment, but and it's true. I do see the sign, the end of times signs, but I also know that it's not the end, period. It's not a finite end. It is an end and a beginning, right? There is always rebirth and death occurring. We look in nature and we see it every single day, right? We see every single year the cycles of the death happening in the fall and in the winter, and then in the spring we see the rebirth, and then the summer, that growth, right? We are cyclic. We are all cyclic. It's so beautiful to be a witness to and to be reminded. So in all of this chaos that we're experiencing right now, the unsureness, the instability, the fear, that is part of the process of death and rebirth. Oh my God, could you imagine? I want you to I'm going to leave you with this visualization to ponder on today. The process of birth. You don't remember your birth, as you should not, and most mothers will tell you that they don't remember every single moment of the birth, or they can't recall that exact pain that's happening in the birth process, because if you did, you'd be like, I'm never having more than one child. And women have more than one child, so that's proof that we don't fully recall, or that we recognize that the power and the life that comes from that birth process is greater than the actual pain of it. But I want you to imagine, if you could think about your birth and coming into this world, the crushing of your skull. Actually, if I had both hands, I could show you. Your skull actually overlaps itself, and it's created that way. So your skull, the bones in the top of your head, they overlap to squish your little head together to fit through your mother's canal to come out into the world. And that process, your shoulders like go through this contortion, and your whole body is contorted, right, to come out. Imagine if that's just what we're experiencing right now. That pain, that fear. Could you imagine if you were cognizant of the birthing process as a baby coming out, like starting to go through this tunnel and seeing it, and not seeing a light. You don't see a light when you're going out. First of all, your head is down anyway, so it's not like you're looking into the light. So you can't see, and you're just trusting and having faith that you're going to make it through this tunnel. But there's a lot of, I could imagine I would be very fearful if I was going through that and feeling my body like going through all of that. So I just want to encourage you all, as we move through this process of rebirth, that it is painful. It can feel uncertain. We may not see the light. We may not know that there is light there, but I am telling you with great certainty that there is light there. I see it every day. I've had death experiences. I've had rebirth experiences, and I can tell you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There may be another tunnel. I cannot promise you that you're only going to have to go through one birth canal. Like I said, I've been through several, but I can tell you that there is light on the other side. And I think pondering that and understanding helps with the fear. It helps with the uncertainty, knowing like, okay, it's going to be all right. Because I know a lot of people are in like, we're doomed. This is the end. They're going to take over, and it's like, we're not quite sure, right? But I just want to encourage you that it will be okay. Keep going. Whatever you're going through, find support. Find somebody to love on you, to give you a hug. Sometimes that's all I need, is just a hug. And let's keep climbing this mountain. Whatever your mountain is today, just know that I'm out here climbing my own mountains alongside of you, silently most of the time, but I'm climbing a mountain too. And most people are. So sending you much love today and gratitude to be here in existence with you at this time on our planet.